What's going on, YouTube and Ravens fans? It's Flock Nation Fumbles, and in today's video we're going to be doing NFL Week 5 game predictions. To start off the week, we have tonight's game, and that's going to be the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. So last week, Brock Purdy did a pretty decent game against Jacksonville, but they came up short, 26-21. Oh, by the way, last week I went 9 wins, 6 losses, and a tie for my predictions. So hopefully we can do at least 10 to 11 right predictions for this week. But anywho, back to the predictions. The Rams finally gave the Colts their first loss by a touchdown. Matthew Stafford is playing pretty lights out at the moment. We're not really sure on San Francisco's side who is going to be the starting quarterback moving forward. It could either be Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. I'm going to give Rams the edge in this game, and I feel like it's going to be a close divisional game. And San Francisco still has like a lot of injuries, so I'm going to go Rams 24, San Francisco 17. Next up after that is going to be the Minnesota Vikings at the Cleveland Browns in London, England. It's a 9:30 game. Minnesota, last week they were... I think Minnesota's been to back-to-back international games, but they only lost by a field goal to Pittsburgh. Carson Wentz had 350 passing yards, and Cleveland kind of got blown out by Detroit, 34-10. Joe Flacco's finally gotten benched for DJ Gabriel. So we're going to see how DJ Gabriel does against, for his first official game, because he did play against Baltimore a little bit after that game got a little bit out of hand. But I believe that Minnesota's going to take this one. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like the Lions, but I'm going to give Cleveland's defense still is pretty decent. I'm going to give Minnesota the win, and it's going to be, let's do 24-20 Minnesota. Next up after that, it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders up against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. The Raiders, I believe they got beaten pretty bad last week against... No, they almost beat Chicago. The final score for Chicago Raiders was 25-24. But Geno Smith has had a very tough season so far. He's made some mistakes. They're winless throughout the year so far. Indianapolis Colts is the surprise sleeper team of the year. Nobody predicted the Colts to be 3-1 so far, and they've hang tight with the Rams, and like they could have beat the Rams. So I feel like the Colts are their roster stacked too, and like Danny Dimes is playing pretty well. I'm gonna give Colts the win here. I don't think it's gonna be close. I'm going to go like 30-14. Next after that is the New York Giants against the New Orleans Saints. Last week, the Giants beat the Chargers. Jackson Dart, he played a manageable clock type of game. His stats weren't too flashy, but they pulled out the win. And he's going to be the starter moving forward in New York. New Orleans, they hung tight with the Buffalo Bills last Sunday, but they still couldn't get the dub. They're still winless for the season. I feel like a lot of people's gonna go for New York here. I'm going to go the New Orleans Saints to get their first win. I think this is probably going to be the maybe upset of the week that like nobody's like paying attention to. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to give New Orleans Saints 23, New York Giants 17. After that, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Jets. Dallas Cowboys, they tied with the Packers Sunday. Our first tie of the season. Dak Prescott's playing really well. Pretty good football. New York Jets are winless. Justin Fields has looked decent in specific times, but he's also gotten injured and they had to play Tyrod Taylor for week 2, I believe. I just feel like Dallas is going to be too much for them. I feel like it's probably going to be a blowout game. I'm going to give Dallas the win, 34-10, New York. After that, we have the Denver Broncos at the Philadelphia Eagles. This could be a pretty decent game, but Denver, they won last week, I believe. Who they beat? Denver beat... Oh, they smashed Cincinnati 28-3, and Bo Nix had over 300 yards passing. I feel like the Eagles defense probably gonna be a little bit too much for Denver, but we'll see how Philadelphia's offense goes. I mean, it did beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even like Baker tried to like come back in that game again, but Eagles they find ways to win. I believe they're the best. They might be the best team in the NFL, besides Buffalo. But I'm gonna give the Eagles the win here. I think it's gonna be a little bit closer. I'm going to give the Eagles a win 24-21. I think they're going to win by a field goal against Broncos. After that, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Carolina Panthers. Miami finally got their first win Monday against the Jets, but that came with a sour note as Tyreek Hill is out for the season. He was a dislocated knee, I believe. So they're going to be out without their best receiver for the remainder of the season. Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about Carolina. So Carolina, they got blown out by New England Patriots 42-13 last Sunday. Bryce Young is a little concerning because like even though they beat the Falcons 30-0, he didn't have any passing touchdowns. They are on a collision course to disaster, as they have not won a game all year yet. I believe this is probably going to be a close game, but I feel like Miami's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a little bit low scoring. I'm going to go 17 Miami, 10 Carolina. After that, the last 1 o'clock game, it's going to be the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. This might be a do-or-die, must-win game for Baltimore. Most likely, Lamar is going to be out for this game, and Cooper Rush is going to be starting against Houston. And we're going to be out of a lot of our starting defensive players. But with that said, Houston has also had like a lot of problems on offense, specifically with C.J. Stroud looking like he's regressing, and the receivers are not doing too much. They finally got their first win against the Titans last week, but we'll see. I feel like this is probably going to be a close game. We'll see how the Ravens defense does against Houston, and we'll see if they give Houston a confidence booster and lets their offense start clicking. Um, and we'll see how Cooper Rush does in his first full game as a starter for the Ravens. This is probably going to be biased, even though the Ravens haven't looked particularly strong on both sides of the ball. But I feel like the Ravens need to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive heading towards the end of the schedule, because they play the Rams not this Sunday, but the week after that. And I highly doubt that we'll beat the Rams if Lamar is still out. But I'm going to give Baltimore the edge here. I'm going to have them winning 24-17 against Houston. After that, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Arizona Cardinals. The Tennessee Titans lost pretty bad to the Houston Texans last week. I believe it was... Let's see here. Yeah, they lost 26-0 to Houston. So they got shut out. Cam Ward, after the game for the presser, basically cursed and was pissed at the team. Said they were ass. The Arizona Cardinals, they barely... Did they get beat pretty hard? Let's see here. Okay, so they barely lost against Seattle last Thursday. They're the Thursday night game. Is this the game where Tennessee finally pops off and they get their first win? That's the question. I don't know. I feel like Kyler Murray might have a game, but Tennessee Titans defense is probably their strongest part of their team. I don't think I'm going to give Tennessee Titans their first win this weekend yet. They do have a couple of easier games on their schedule that I think will give them their first win. So I'm going to give Arizona the win, barely. I'm going to have them win like 20-14. After that, we have another 4 o'clock game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Seattle Seahawks. This could be a potential game of the week. Both teams are clicking pretty well. Sam Darnold has been playing lights out. So has Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has been winning fourth quarter game-winning drives besides the Eagles. Seattle's coming off a close win against their division opponent, Arizona. And Tampa Bay barely lost to the Eagles. I'm going to give Seattle Seahawks the win on this one. Coach Mike McDonald's really good. He used to be with the Ravens. He has a good defensive mind. Wish we never let him go, to be honest with you, because we definitely need him at the moment. So I feel like the defense is going to keep the injury-riddled Tampa Bay offense in check. We're going to have Seattle winning 27-20 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After that, we have the Detroit Lions at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Lions handled the Browns in typical fashion. Detroit's playing pretty well. Since their Week 1 loss against the Packers. Jared Goff's playing phenomenal. The 2 running backs on their team's playing phenomenal. I think they're going to wipe the floor with Cincinnati. I don't think this game's going to be competitive. Jake Browning has not looked that particularly well ever since Joe Burrow's been out. Cincinnati's only scored 3 points and 10 points, respectively, in the last 2 games that Jake Browning has had to start. This could get ugly pretty early. I'm going to go Detroit 37, Cincinnati 6. It's not going to be good, folks. After that, we have another decent game. Washington Commanders against sorry about that. Washington Commanders against the Los Angeles Chargers. This is going to be a good game. Jayden Daniels is coming back off of injury. And Washington, they lost to the Falcons, but I feel like that's more of a defensive issue against the Commanders, and that they didn't have Jayden Daniels. Justin Herbert and the Chargers lost to the Giants last Sunday, but Justin Herbert's been playing pretty decent. Their defense is pretty good this year. Quentin Johnston's finally emerging as a bona fide receiver. Oh boy, this is going to be good. I'm going to give Washington Commanders the win with Jayden Daniels coming back. I think this is going to be a gunslinging game where both quarterbacks are going to light up the scoreboard. I'm going to give the Commanders the win 34-30 Los Angeles. And then the Sunday night football game, we have the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo kind of let New Orleans Saints into the game Sunday, but they've handled their opponents pretty easy this year. The only playoff caliber team that they played was Baltimore in Week 1, and they came back and won. They're 4-0, undefeated. Josh Allen's playing lights out. James Cook playing lights out. The only weakness on their team is probably their back end of the defense. New England crushed the Raiders. We'll see if Drake May and the Patriots and Mike Vrabel can cook up anything against Buffalo. But Buffalo is really good against their division opponents. Buffalo's won. They're basically on the path of the Patriots, where they're just winning their division every year. So I feel like the Bills are just gonna crush the Patriots in this game. I think it's gonna be 34-17 Buffalo. And then lastly, we have the Monday night football game. We have the Kansas City Chiefs against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City's going on the road. So Kansas City mopped the floor with Baltimore. Wasn't even close. Patrick Mahomes had 4 TDs. Xavier Worthy finally came back from injury, and he had a ball game. Yeah, they just mopped the floor with Baltimore 37-20. They're going to Jacksonville though. The Prince, Trevor Lawrence, he's been okay this year. The defense has mainly carried Jacksonville. They're 3-1. They shouldn't have lost that game to the Bengals. Who did Jacksonville play? Yeah, so Jacksonville beat San Francisco. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be able to match the Kansas City offense. Like I said, Xavier Worthy is back, and they should be getting Rice here in a week or two. And I feel like Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, they got a confidence booster from beating the Ravens. We'll see how they do against a better defense on Monday. But I feel like Kansas City is going to pull out the win and move up to, 3-2. But it'll be a close, good game, I believe. I think it's gonna be 27-21, Kansas City. And there's 4 teams on a bye week this week: the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and Pittsburgh Steelers. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get updates when I upload. And I'll see you all later.